There's obviously something to do with the storms and the wind and stuff like, and I've never had that before, like where I could hear the commentary, but there's obviously something going on. And then my daughter Summer started shouting at us in the background. Like Simon says, "I'll let you go. It sounds like you've got a lot going on there." I says, "Right, aye." Oh dear me! But we're live anyway. Davey, welcome to the Mackem Cabbie and Davey show. And how are we doing, Davey? You all right?
So champion.
Lucky to be on. The power came back on about 6 o'clock. Wasn't going to be on, but saved the day. I came back home from work and the house we've got the candles on and stuff. But we're here. So Davey keeps telling me off to the listeners or viewers that my glass is definitely half empty. That I've got nothing to worry about. That Sunderland are going to turn Plymouth over.
Way high. They're going to get promoted. Don't mind turn Plymouth over. It's the most confident I've been this season. We've got a good team, Cabbie. A good team.
We'll certainly have it that. Got people in the chat already waiting for us, believe it or not. We've got 22 people watching already, and we've just come on. Says good evening, Stuart and Davey. Says David Joblin. Good evening to you. Good evening to John Nesbitt. Says evening, lads. Stephen Martin says hi, guys. Hello to Stephen Martin. Hello, David Walker. He says hi, Cabbie and Davey. Andrew Moore says good evening, chaps. How are you, Andrew? El Bong, hello, mate. How are you? He says good evening, lads. Half full man. Andrew Moore. He says the storm barely touched us in Bolton. It's been absolutely mental in Carlisle, serious to God. My first run this morning, I started at 6 in the morning because I believe it or not, I love these storms. I love being out in them. I'm one of these storm chasers. And my first job was out the West Coast taking 2 doctors to the hospital. And I thought my car was going to take off with the wind. It was mental. And we had a roof blew off at the leisure centre. It's just all happening. Have you had a bad year over there, Davey, or not?
It's really bad. There's 2 or 3 fences being blew down in the street. Really bad. Like, I wouldn't say like over the top, but just sustained wind for a long period of time. Like,
yeah. Well, it peaked. The wind peaked about midday today, but it started about 6 this morning.
1 o'clock here where it got really bad, like.
Aye. Well, I was driving out west, and it was dark, and I just heard this mighty crack on the top of my car, and I absolutely crapped myself because I didn't know what it was, but it was really loud. So it's debris flying around, isn't there? So it was mad. Anyway, Colin Rowland says hello, lads. David Walker says Hull's 1-0 up already.
No.
Against Sheffield United. Is Hull at home?
Come on.
Is Hull at home?
That would be... No. Sheffield United at home.
That's not going to stay the same, that, Davey. I'll tell you now.
The world team, Sheffield United's been falling behind a lot lately and coming back and winning, haven't they?
They'll do exactly the same. They've scored too early, Hull. It's as simple as that. But anyway, God... Mackem Cabbie says, Gable end in a house up the road, come down, says Mackem Cabbie. Patrick says, hello lads. Hello Patrick, how are you? Paul Graham says, I agree with Davey. He says, I love you to bits, but Stuart, try to chill out, he says. Being negative Norman, says Paul. So I'm getting told off by Paul Graham. He says, I need to chill out.
You need a reality check soon.
I need a reality check. So there we are. Somebody on your side.
You need to realise how good we are.
There we go. So I need to take note of you and Paul. Eh?
1 defeat in 21 games.
Oh, I know. When you say it like that.
That sounds good, doesn't it?
It does. Andrew Moore says, my mum was panicking saying I shouldn't drive up tomorrow as it's a bit of wind will stop us going to the match. No, it won't stop you. There's going to be no wind tomorrow anyway.
Cabbie, listen to this. Can you remember when Sunderland got promoted with Roy Keane?
Wait, aye?
Did you think Sunderland were good then?
I thought they were red hot, aye.
Well, but the same amount of games now to what Roy Keane had. We are 15 points better off.
That's mental.
And Sunderland won the league.
We did. That was the league we also beat Southampton. Was it 2-1 away? 2-0 away? Grant Ledbetter scored a massive cracking goal.
Aye. So I think we're sitting, Cabbie.
How are you supposed to hear the door?
Sorry, Davey. Some usually tells us. Have you got it?
Where is it? No.
Hold on, Sue. Hold on a minute, Davey. Oh, sorry, Sue. Hey. Sorry.
Have you got any change?
I haven't, no. I'll go on in the Curtis household. Sorry, me Chinese has just arrived and Sue was wanting to know where the wallet was to pay for it.
Damn, God.
Oh, dear me. It's always going on in this house, I'm telling you. It really always is. Evening says Gary Hoyle. Mackem says, yeah, 1-0 Hull. Dougie Stewart says, hi, Cabbie and Davey. Just blew in from the Windy City. Paul says, well said, Davey, mate.
Yeah.
Andrew Moore says, Keano's side was decent, but the rest of the league that season was pretty poor, to be honest. So basically, he's saying the standard is a hell of a lot better now in the competitions. It's a lot harder in this championship from what it was when we went up with Roy Keane. Regis has a better first team than Roy had. Colin Major's in. Hello, Colin.
Well,
He says, evening, Cabbie. Evening, Davey. He says, I peaked about 2 hours ago. I got to stop eating that chili. I think he's on about his wind problems there, is Colin and all that. Like, so let's talk about the Derby County game, Davey. What did you think of that game then? What did you think of it?
Well, I thought we won it comfortably, really. We should have, I mean, if we want to talk about that second goal, that wasn't a goal, but was a goal. It's just one of the most baffling decisions I've ever seen, ever. And it's like, I'm getting sick of these officials. They're like Sunday morning officials, aren't they? It's getting embarrassing when you think about what the prizes are and the money that's involved, and you've got referees and linesmen that just haven't got a clue.
Well, why weren't they looked into? Because there should be. Because the fact, like, do you know, like, if a player does something wrong and he gets pulled up, doesn't he? And he goes to some sort of a hearing or something like that, or why does now it happen to the referees? Because I mean, that was scandalous.
Not only now happening, Cabbie, the baffling thing to me is you don't get an explanation.
Well, no.
That's what baffles you. Because you don't actually get them. He should come out at the end of the game, the referee, on Sky, and say exactly the situation through his eyes. But that never happens. So it always causes debate night after night.
I think the referee should give an interview like the managers do.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, let's face it. They've got they've got ex-referees on Sky Sports News, ex-referees watching like the football, and they're giving their opinion what it should be. Do you know what I mean? But what did you think offhand, Davey? What did you think that goal was disallowed for? What did you reckon?
I couldn't distinctly know why, because I went through all the scenarios, and the one that I know for definite that it wasn't offside, impossible to be offside. And that is what the feedback I'm getting is that it's the offside that he give it for. But he never put the flag up at any stage.
Jacob's just joined us. Hello, Jacob. You all right, mate?
Just had me dinner, hi Davey.
Eh?
I've just had me dinner, so that's why I've just come.
Dinner.
You said he's pigs trotters.
Pigs
Nah,
trotters.
Nah, fajitas Mexican.
Yorkshire puddings have you had, son?
No. Fajitas.
Vinegar sandwiches.
Dirty bastard.
What we're talking about at the minute, Jacob, we're just...
Is it the offside goal? Because if so, could have a field day rant with that. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the replays. I'm sure you all have
Would they have
them.
given offside if it was Leeds United? If it were Leeds United, would they give offside? But oh no, it's Sunderland. Give offside.
Oh, I just can't get my head round it.
They were clearly onside, right? I mean, look, there was two options, wasn't there? Yeah, it was offside, then it was handball. But if you look at the handball, it was smacked against his arm, and the player was literally three inches away from him. There's no way that was handball. So
I bet Derby County fans were happy, weren't they, when it got off?
For handball, Cabbie.
No. But the linesman had a perfect view of it. He didn't need a second look at it. It was obvious. But the ball was played. It was a slow ball through. So
right.
the linesman had a really good look at it, and you could clearly see there was daylight on side. Yeah. So if VAR was in the Championship, and I know we didn't like VAR, you know what I'm saying, but that would have given the goal if that was VAR. Surely, God.
Yeah. But you're saying he gave the goal? Did he give the goal? Have you seen his reaction when they score? The referee's just wandering about. He hasn't given no reaction. He hasn't blew for a free kick. He hasn't blew for the goal. He's just standing about like this. It's embarrassing.
It's a good point, that, and nobody's actually brought that up. I mean, the first thing the referee does if it's a goal, he points to the centre spot, doesn't he?
Have you watched him? He doesn't do that, does he?
I've not noticed that, Davey. Is that what he did? He just didn't know what he was doing.
He doesn't do nothing. He's a terrible ref in mind, isn't he?
Is he a Premier League ref?
Aye, terrible, isn't he?
Do you know?
He's refereed us before. That's true. He's refereed us before, hasn't he?
Do you know what? Do you know what I think it is? And they brought this on Talk Sport today. Referees are too dependent and too relying on VAR in the Premier League. Yeah. And then when all of a sudden you take away, right, that VAR, they're like a rabbit in the headlights. They don't know what to do. They panic.
I believe in that comment because I think VAR referees that are used to playing with VAR, referee the game differently. They definitely do.
Of course they do. And, and I think for that split second when Isidore scored, he'll have had a flashback thinking, I'm in the Premier League, I'm not so sure about this, it'll be alright, VAR sort out. Oh crap, we haven't got VAR. What do I do? He didn't know what to do.
No.
And it's... If that's the case, they don't have any Premier League referees refereeing in the Championship.
I've always said that. I don't know why they put them in.
Because it's right what you say. It's the two different referees. You get the ref.
Yeah. A Championship referee never referees a Premier League game, does he?
No.
Oh, where?
It's a completely different ball game when VAR is involved.
Definitely.
I don't care what anybody says. It's a different referee.
They never put the flags up, do they?
No.
But the day in the Championship, they put it up straight away.
Aye. And we've seen this a few times when a Premier League referee's been involved in the Championship. It's all over the place because the referees are stuck. They're panicking because their crutch is VAR. You take away the crutch from them, it's like, they look lost, didn't they?
Yeah.
Jacob, what did you reckon about that ghost goal then? That should have been
offside. I just think, well, during that Derby game, the goals came up on my phone before, so on FootMob and WhatsApp. And it said, goal, but then it started saying offside, and I was saying to Amv, I think it's offside, and then they say, no, it's not. And then it went quiet for a bit, and then a bit later on, it's offside, and I'm thinking, they can't do that. They'd only do that if the VAR was in the game. They can't change their mind if there's no VAR. So it should have stayed 2-0. Should have done. He only changed his mind when the Derby County players were surrounding him. And it's disgusting. Because I'm telling you now, if that were Leeds United, they would not have given that offside. Or if that was Newcastle, I hate mentioning them, but they wouldn't have given offside if that were Newcastle or Sheffield. But oh no, if it's Sunderland, oh yeah, discriminate against Sunderland, or screw you Sunderland, fuck you, all that. What the hell have Sunderland done to get all this hate from referees, apart from telling them the shit? You know, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you're a referee and you can't take criticism, do not referee. You're gonna get criticism. Sort yourself out. That's what I say.
But these experience, like I said, I listen to Talk Sport every day at work. It's a cracking station, and you get the expert pundits on there, experienced football players that's been around for years, and they've all said the same thing. So you put a Premier League referee that used to VAR in the Championship without VAR, it's a mess.
Aye.
It's an absolute mess, and that's what they've said.
Yeah.
Simple solution: let them ref in the Premier League and keep them there. Know what I mean?
Mm.
Do you mind if I read some more messages here? Because there's loads coming. There's loads coming through. Jim says about Roy Keane here. He says could be wrong. He says, but I think we started slow with Keane and went on an excellent run. Paul Grimm says he's going to the game tomorrow. It's my first in a few years due to finance. He says I'm really looking forward to it, lads. I really hope they win, mate, and I really hope you enjoy it. Mackem Cabbie says nobody from the EFL or ref has come out and said anything, and that's what annoys me as well. And you've said the same.
Accountability.
Why is there nothing being said about it?
No. The sharp that come out when there's like a foul spotted like away from the camera and somebody gets fetched up 4 days later.
Or like Sir Dan Neil when he's swearing at the referee and he gets sent off. We soon get told then, don't we?
Yeah. It's double standards like that. It leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I'm just so pleased we've got away with the 3 points still.
I tell you what, it would have been a different story if that had stopped us from winning. If it was 1-1 and we got that second goal.
I know. Well, put this way, Cabbie. I went to bed and I didn't sleep all night because I was terrified of getting up the next morning and looking at the paper. And there it was no teaching the ref had getting home and cancelled our first goal off.
And you made a good point. Is that right, Davey? Because I said, didn't I? I says, what is the cut-off point before the referee can't chart the goal off? And you says...
When they kick off.
Is that right? So any time before they kick off?
Yeah, when the game's restarted, it's too late to change the mind then.
So... Isidore celebrated with the fans, celebrated with the players. He then ran right across to Regis Labrie, celebrated with Regis Labrie. It seemed to take an eternity.
Aye, it did.
You know, and if the lad needed a pick me up, if his penalty misses, I mean, you got to feel for him, haven't you?
No.
Crikey.
He couldn't believe it, could he?
Nah. Andrew Lewis says there was no flag at the point they said Wilson was offside. And none one of the camera angles looked like he was actually offside. Well, if you've noticed, when Isidore smacked that in off the underside of the bar and it went in, the linesman sprinted straight away back to the centre half.
Yes, he did. But the ref never pointed to the spot, mind you.
No.
I've watched it dozens of times.
But the linesman was cocksure it was a goal because he sprinted straight away. Yeah.
But the ref never blew for an offence at any stage in that attack.
I know. Mackem 73 says the ref did tell Isidore why he disallowed it. Apparently,
yeah.
Well,
coming back from an offside position or something. Well, that's rubbish.
As far as I'm concerned, he can't get out of it. He mucked up. He mucked up big time, and he can't get out of it. I don't care what he says. Andrew Lewis says, Paul, I'm bringing my kids up to the first Stadium of Light match tomorrow.
Good on you, lad. Hey, this is great listening about all these new people coming back.
It's class, isn't it?
It's what we want. Let's hope they create a nice atmosphere because there'll be a change.
Fingers crossed. Hope they do. Gary says, if the championship does not have VAR, why does the fourth official look at a monitor and chalk the goal off? That's a few people have said that. And
I don't know about I don't know. See, this is my argument. I don't know who's chalked the goal off. I don't know if it's the fourth official, the linesman, the referee, because nobody comes out and is accountable for anything.
Is the referee in charge of the two linesmen?
Yes.
So a linesman can't overrule the referee, is that right?
No, but he can advise him. He can say, "Oh, I think you've
can
got
advise him.
Something like that, and then the ref will change his mind. But
somebody definitely said something to that ref. Somebody definitely said something to him. It was just weird. Bong says, the controversy is, lads, is that the fourth official said it was offside. The fourth official does not have a say of what happens on the pitch. No. That's utter madness.
Well, he's not there to make decisions. He can give advice. He can say, I don't think it was a goal or this or that. But it's not like VAR where he has the final say like the day in the VAR box.
Well, the fourth official's job's to hold up how many minutes is left, isn't it? But then what the subs number is. And
argue with the managers. That's all they do.
And tell the managers to keep in the designated areas.
Yeah.
Mackem Muller says ref is officiating QPR game this weekend, so it doesn't look like he's been sanctioned. Hello, Pixel Rich. How are you doing? He says, for a laugh, lads. He says that second goal went in. I jumped up cheering and told our lass it reminded me of the 1966 World Cup final goal off the underside of the bar. Gary Hoyle says, no whistle, no flag. It was absolutely ridiculous. Dougie says they said it was the fourth official that disallowed it. I don't think how he can. I don't think he's got the power to do that.
No.
Colin Major says, Davey, I've seen better officials at local school team.
Aye.
John Nesbitt says, it's official. We now have VAR in the championship. Rumours, fourth official told the ref. The fourth official sorts out the touchline and added time. That's it, says Bogg. That's what we've just said, isn't it?
Aye.
Gary says it makes you think it's a conspiracy against us. Mackem Muller, he says apparently he can intervene on match-changing situations, red, yellow cards. So maybe the offside that wasn't came under that heading. Interesting stuff. Gary says if a player or manager does not turn up for post-match debriefings, they are fined. He says, so what makes referees any different? No. We need class. Why do you think that is? What do you think the reason why the referees didn't have to give an interview?
I think it's a very important point. I think it's very important that, there's thousands and thousands of people involved in that decision. At least he could do is just clarify whether you agree with them or not. It's just having clarity for your own peace of mind.
Do you think it would cause problems if the referee, the full time's done and dusted, the players are in the showers and the referee's getting interviewed after the managers and players, whatever, and he turns around and the referee says, I've made a mistake, that should have been a goal. Could that open a can of worms?
Yeah, no, that could. But Cabbie, I would be happy if, when he got home, he just made an announcement to say the goal was disallowed because number 7 handballed it, and then you think, oh, well, that's what's happened. If they just come out with a statement, would they? But you just hear nothing, do you? Nothing.
So even though we know it's a load of bull, the fact that he's come out and gave a proper statement, he said something, but he hasn't said nothing, has he?
No.
Evening, lads, says John Smiles. Hello. He says, how about the fourth official's explanation? Nothing from him either. They're just hiding under the rocks, aren't they?
Yeah.
Lucky for the referee. Eh?
They remind me of politicians.
It's lucky for the referees that we won. And that's why we're like sort of letting it go easier than what it should be, because we got the 3 points.
Yeah.
And if we didn't, different story. Gary Hall says if the big boys were there, would be a major debate, lads. John says you could talk for 2 years about the officials. You wouldn't be any other wiser.
No.
Mackem says paranoid. The refs aren't after us. He says it's just us being silly, I think, but it just seems to be that way, doesn't it? Andrew says I agree. The refs don't have it in for us. They are just rubbish in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was rubbish. He was rubbish for both teams. That ref. He just couldn't make a decision, could he?
No.
So rather than make a decision one way or the other, he just let it go, didn't he? Loads of times.
And then you got Anthony Backhouse, the who made a pig's ear of the Burnley keeper.
Your mate from Carlisle, isn't it?
Aye. It's just totally hesitation. Not grabbing the situation by the bull of the horns and saying like, "Hey, right, I'm gonna none of this mucking about, blah blah blah." Do you know what I mean? And
Aye.
it's just this. Just not. It's consistent of not being consistent. That's the trouble.
Yeah.
With the championship referees, it's just there's no consistency. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
John says, would be nice, Davey, if we all on here could meet up before a match for a pint. We all could take turns walking your dog.
Hi, brilliant.
I might win.
Yeah, you might win, Jacob, I would say.
I'm the young, so I might win.
We should have we should have an end of season night out where all the punters that ring in.
Right, we should do, shouldn't we?
Aye.
I've nearly caught up with the messages anyway. Paul Graham says I had a season ticket for a few years, but like I say, due to finance, I couldn't go as much as I'd love to. Paul, I used to go to Roker Park.
Yeah.
Saturday night games, used to go into the reserves. Before we had kids, I was going to Stadium of Light all the time. It's a different ball game, mate. It's all about finances and stuff, and I've had a lot of it is about money, and I get a lot of grief by some. Well, I have in the past at the fact like, how can you be a Sunderland fan? You didn't go into the games. I cannot answer that question, can I?
What about people who live abroad or Australia?
I don't know.
Or in different parts of the country of England.
Yeah. So I think Sunderland's got one of the best away followings in the country, like.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Neil Foster says officials are protected. There should be full investigations into disallowed goal. The referee and linesman gave the goal outside. Influence got the goal disallowed. Fourth official. Loads of fans say a fourth official. We'll never know, says Jim, the truth about the ghost goal or get any kind of explanation. We won. Time to save our breath and move on. Gary says the officials are a law unto themselves. Tony Huntington says if we lose second place by 1 goal difference, then what about that then? I don't know. Everyone's been complaining all season about the inconsistency of these officials, says Gary Hoyle. No. But apart from that, we've caught up with the messages and stuff. We'll ask Jacob. Do you think Miende took his goal well?
Oh, sorry.
Miende, do you think he took his goal well against Derby?
Yeah, I think he did. He's still young at end of day, so we can't put too much pressure on him. But,
that was his wrong foot now, Cabbie.
Aye. I mean,
he took it well. Hopefully, he can score more now. He's got potential, hasn't he? He's got potential.
Yeah.
I've got a bit of a issue we think to make up for. See what your comments are, the Yorkshire Mackem's comments are, and the punters' comments are.
Right. Okay.
Right. I think about football from the minute I open my eyes to the minute I shut my eyes. Right. Now, I'm a big fan of systems and shape of a team. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a bit twixt and turned at the minute. What do the punters think is Sunderland's best formation? Most of the season we've played 4-3-3, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've also played 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
The last 3 games, we've played 4-4-2. Which system do you all think is better for us going forward?
Ooh.
I think we've made life hard for ourselves going 4-4-2.
I think
Definitely.
4-4-2 should be against teams like Plymouth and all that. But a
Correct.
4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1.
He didn't
4-2-3-1.
play 4-4-2 against Burnley, did he?
No.
But 4-4-2 against teams like your Plymouths and teams like Cardiff. But a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 defence against teams like Leeds. You know, do mix it up like that.
But can you see how he's in a bit of a turmoil at the minute, because I think he wants Meander in the team, doesn't he? At the minute.
It's looking that way, yeah.
I think he wants him up front.
Ballard and Meppen.
He wants him up front, but he can't get him up front unless he plays 4-4-2. It's a problem, isn't it?
Why do you...
3, we would like Lafay in the middle, wouldn't we?
Do you know, I've not seen one other Sunderland fan say otherwise about Lafay should be playing in the middle.
But how do we get him in there?
Yeah, who does he swap with?
There's no way I would drop Bellingham or Daniel for him, because they're too important to the team, like.
Yeah.
So we'd have to play him as a number 10.
Mm-hmm.
So where does Meander fit? It's a tough one, isn't it?
It's a nice problem to be had.
Aye, because you can change it. It means we can use our bench. For instance, do you all think Roberts will play tomorrow?
I don't think he'll start.
Do you not? I think he'll definitely play.
You think he'll definitely play?
He's always played the home games. If you look, you know, all the times he's been left out midweek when we've had 3 games in a week. I think he's been left out on 4 occasions, but he's always come back for the Saturday home game.
What were you going to say, Jacob, there, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, no. I agree. I agree with what Davey's saying. It's a tough one to take.
What system will we play tomorrow?
He'll probably do 4-2-3-1, won't he? Because I think he's done a few 4-4-2s now. He's probably going to go switch back to 4-2-3-1.
Yeah. It's a tough one, isn't it? Because I think he wants me.
I'm confident we'll win tomorrow, but I think he's going to go 4-2-3-1.
Right. So that puts Meander back on the wing, which he's not as good as he is when he's up the top.
No.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
But, you know... onwards and upwards.
To see what the punters on the phones think.
Yeah, get some people ringing in.
Yeah.
It's, of course, it all depends as well how Plymouth turn up and how they're going to perform. I mean, do you expect them to try and is their goal to try and get a point to stifle Sunderland?
I would think so.
Final day, isn't it?
They went right back lately, haven't they?
Did you watch the Burnley match against them?
I've seen the highlights, that's all.
They just...
Bloody Burnley.
I know, but they ripped a new backside open every time they went into that Plymouth. Plymouth didn't get out the half.
That Plymouth team that played the other night wasn't the team we played when we got beat off them.
Different team.
Totally different team. I didn't recognise any of them players' names. Any of them.
Morgan Whittaker wasn't even playing, was he? He didn't show up.
No.
So... I think there's
fullback wasn't playing. I don't know what's happened to him. You know him on the fullback who was having a spat with Mundle.
Oh, yeah.
Like he scored the winner, didn't he? He's their captain.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't there. Can't remember his name. Like.
Well, I've said to a few Plymouth fans, it's like if you played the same tempo the way when you played us down Home Park, he says you'd probably be mid-table if not a bit higher.
Yeah. Aye.
You know what I mean? But they've just gone totally to pot. I mean,
we're probably going to get revenge on them tomorrow, aren't we? For the home park, probably going to get revenge.
I'd like to think we could get an early goal tomorrow and just get 2 or 3 and just kill the game.
Well, I said to Benno today on Total Sport, So carry on, Jacob. What were you going to say, mate?
I predicted 4-1 tomorrow for us. That's what I predicted for tomorrow.
I says to Benno, and because I heard them talking about, Sunderland need to stop starting games slow. They need to get out the blocks because I thought they were a bit slow starting against Derby. If you want the truth, I thought, even against Burnley, and especially with Serkin, he was getting skinned all the time every time they had the ball. And I says, look, it would be nice to see Sunderland 3-0 up at half time. Do you know what I mean? I says, none of this 0-0 at half time or 83 minutes gone and we're just 1 goal up. It's uncomfortable. I didn't care. You could be playing, the Diodora League team from anywhere. 1-0's always an uncomfortable lead.
Yeah.
And it's like, when's Sunderland going to put the game to bed? When are they going to do it? When they're going to be 3-0 at half time? And
Cabbie, you know when we play 4-4-2, we lose a lot of control of the game. I don't know if you've noticed the last few games, Portsmouth, Derby, we're not in control of the game as much when we play 4-4-2.
Why do you think that is?
We've only got 2 in midfield instead of 3. So that's the drawback of playing 2 up top. And the daft thing is, when we play 4-4-2, we don't create as many chances as when we play 1 up front.
It's balmy, isn't it?
I mean, we only had 8 shots at goal against Derby. We normally have 20-odd shots at goal.
Oh, we didn't create many chances against Derby at all.
We had 8 shots at goal, 3 on target. And that's because it's 4-4-2. We'll lose a bit of control in the middle.
And I think that's Sunderland's strength is the midfield.
Yeah.
I don't think
I like Dan Mills sitting in the pivot in front of the centre halves. That's the system I like. But when you play 4-4-2, you kind of play that way.
I'm not just saying this because I'm a Sunderland fan, but I think Sunderland have got the best midfield in that division.
Definitely.
I don't care what anybody says, but as you say, if you dilute that by changing the formation, we've lost that flow, haven't we? We haven't got that control in midfield.
Exactly, we're not flowing, and there's no tippy-tappy football then, is there?
No.
Because there's only the 2 in the midfield. When normally we have Reagan, whether... No, I didn't like 4-4-2, mate. I never have done.
It's an interesting one. Let's see what some of the people...
Control of the game. And I think that's Sunderland's biggest plus is having control of the game. And that's the way Regis likes it, doesn't he?
It is. Let's go into the chat.
Yeah.
We've got nearly 50 people watching. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Anybody know, is Hull still leading?
You've got if you want.
Okay. Michael Gunning says, hi lad, he's on about the referee. He says, balances out with the refs. He says, I love one day, soon to travel over from Australia and meet you all to come to Sunderland and see the boys. So that's somebody else going to be popping over and seeing. Brilliant.
Winning, just to let you know, Hull are still winning. Hull are still winning 1-0.
How many minutes has gone?
41.
No, but
41.
Nearly half time.
There's no way on earth that's going to stay 0-1.
No, that's the class again.
Come on, Davey. It's not going to finish 0-1, surely.
Sheffield are going to win that.
I knew when they were 1-0 down against Swansea, man. I thought, how?
Do you know what? I think, I feel like maybe they could win the league. Sheffield United and Leeds be second. Maybe Sheffield might just have that edge.
What about Sunderland?
Well, if Leeds bottle it, then yeah. But it's hard to tell at this point, isn't it? But
Cabbie.
Hello.
Sunderland's got a great chance of going up. I'll tell you why. Out of them top, do you believe it's a 4-horse race?
Leeds, Sheffield United, Burnley, Sunderland. Yeah.
4-horse race. There's only Sunderland have only got one of the other 3 to play.
Leeds. Yeah.
The other 2 have 2 teams to play.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you're guaranteed everybody is going to drop points in them other games. It can't happen any other way, can it?
No.
Somebody's going to drop points on 2 occasions, twice. It can only happen once for Sunderland because they only got 1 game to play. That's a massive advantage. That's a huge advantage.
The only disadvantage is the fact, like, we're playing catch up. We can't afford to lose against the lesser teams. You know, they might get away with it because they're ahead of us on points, but because we're playing catch up, we cannot slip up.
I know, but they can't win every game, can they?
No, because they're playing each other. That's right.
We've only got 1 instance like that. They've got 2. Then other 3 have got 2 occasions. We've only got 1. That could be huge. That.
Like, I
think in the picture.
I think we can get something against Leeds at Ellen Road. I think we can get a draw out of that. I can see us getting a draw.
And the other 3 teams have got 2 more home games to play than Leeds. Leeds have got 2 less home games to play than the other 3. That could be huge, you know.
What Sunderland need to do is they need to get about 4 wins on the trot. None of this win 1, draw 2, win 1, loss 1, draw 1. They need, if they want in the top 2, as unrealistic as it seems, they need to kind of go out all out and get 4 wins on the bounce to catch up and really, really tighten the grip and get a hold of things.
Well, the result tomorrow is going to be big because we are guaranteed to close on one of either Burnley or Leeds if we win tomorrow, because we play each other on Monday.
If we lose, where does that leave Sunderland?
Oh, well, you kind think like that, can you? If we cannot beat the bottom of the league team, how can we be in the equation, really?
You know,
but
so
if we win tomorrow, we've definitely caught points on either both of them or one of them, haven't we?
Aye. And it's not just me saying it. There is other Sunderland fans on my channel have also says it will be a Sunderland thing to do to lose tomorrow. If they did, would you say the top 2's gone? Good night. See you later.
No, definitely not, because it's still 17, 18 games to go, isn't that? You can't say that. 50 odd points to play for? Definitely not.
We're going to win, Cabbie. Cabbie, we're going to win. Think that way. We're going to win.
You kind of think like you're going to win. I think we're going to win every game, mate. I don't think we'll get 3 leads.
We've just got to get them players, get them thinking, no, go out there and I don't care who it is. You know, we haven't got to match them. They've got to match us. That's what I say.
I just don't want to see the usual 40 minutes where it's been scrappy. The opposition have had most of the play, especially where Plymouth are in the league. No disrespect to them. They've got great fans. They are a good club. But the league table doesn't lie. I didn't want to be watching 40 minutes of the first half where it's an uneasy stadium of light. It's nervy. It's dead quiet. And Plymouth have got the upper hand. That's what I didn't want to see. I want to see Sunderland take charge tomorrow. Aye.
You want an early goal, and I think we'll get it.
Aye.
But an early goal for Sunderland totally changes the dynamics of the game, doesn't it?
Well, it took Leeds 3 minutes the other day, didn't it?
Yeah. And the game before that, it took them 3 minutes.
Yeah.
They were 1-0 up against Sheffield Wednesday after 3 minutes and 1-0 up the other night after 3 minutes.
Who did they play the other night again?
Norwich.
That's it. I'm going to catch up on some messages here. Andrew says, question for anyone who goes to the Stadium of Light for games, best place to park. He says, I normally find somewhere in the town and walk over the bridge, but we might get close to kick-off tomorrow. I mean, when I go, I always park on one of the side streets and walk a mile and a half.
Yeah. Just be careful which side street, because a lot of them's got parking permits in.
Aye.
Just get far enough away from the ground and park in a side street.
You're on about formations. Here we go. Bong says the best formation is 4-2-3-1, reverting to 4-4-2 and back again.
Yeah.
Okay. John's gone about Mr. Moyes offering Dan Neil £15 million. Dan Neil's going nowhere, is he?
I think it'd be a foolish move for Dan Neil, like.
Pixel Rich says Davey 4-4-2 is a problem for this team unless changes are made. He says for me 4-3-2-1 seems to have worked so far. He says my opinion only.
Yeah.
Mackem Muller says it depends on who we play against. He says might have to change formation against certain opposition.
Yeah.
Mackem says hit the like button. Thanks, mate.
You couldn't play 4-4-2 against Leeds away, could you?
Oh God, no.
We are really strong in midfield, and that's where we need to.
Billy Harrison. Hello, Billy Harrison. He says Roberts should start, and where is Watson and Mundle? What will happen when they come back? I think Watson's still got a few weeks. Mundle, he shouldn't be that far away, should he?
End of well, they said the end of December. Now they're saying the end of January. It's crazy, like, but it's just good we're not having to rush them back like we have in previous seasons.
I know. Well, Mackem Muller says because of Roberts.
The longer time that you give them to recover, the better the outcome is, isn't it?
Oh, aye. Mackem Muller says because of Roberts' dodgy hamstring, this is they don't want to overload him with games. John Smiles says I think Roberts can be too predictable. Roberts says hiya to you. David Walker, hello David. He says expect Plymouth will play 10 men behind the ball.
I'm not worried about that because Lafay, that's the reason we've bought Lafay, isn't it?
Lafay, aye. Mackem says 11, David, yeah.
Anybody's pocket him.
Jordan says, I don't care what formation we play. It's down to our marvellous head coach why we are doing the business. The players have faith in him. So do I. Paul Heron says, we seem to change formation in the game depending on possession and which third ball is in. He says, we are quite fluid compared to the rest of the league.
I totally agree with that. There's not many teams switch as much as Sunderland do.
No.
That's a good point there. Good point off that, gentleman.
Are we the youngest team in that league?
Yes.
David Walker says, outfield players Mackem. God, there's all these messages coming, trying to keep up. Mackem Muller says, Edwards is Plymouth's right back and is out injured.
That's him.
He's out injured.
Oh, good.
Gary Hoyle says, Argyle are shot after the Burnley game. Their morale is gone. He reckons it's going to be 4-0 at least to us. David Walker's going, yes, it's still 1-0 to Hull. Nigel S, hello. He says, Meander will start tomorrow, not Roberts, following his goal. Be interesting.
It's left it more difficult to leave Meander out.
Yes.
But I know he likes Roberts for home games, doesn't he?
He does. For some reason, he does.
He always likes Roberts at home games because he creates, doesn't he? Not that there's much comes off him lately, but he does like him he gets us up the pitch, Roberts, doesn't he?
Where we want to be. He gets us at the right end of the field, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
And even if he gets corners from him and things like that, and he's a nuisance, isn't he, for defenders?
Yeah. Oh, aye.
Topsy T says hello from sunny Norway today, Cabbie. He's like Phileas Fogg, isn't he, Topsy T? Sunderland Flynn. Hello, Sunderland Flynn. He says, what do you think about the signing that might come? There's been a few rumours. If you're still in the chat, just come back with that, Flynn. Who do you think? Is it the one I mentioned before?
There's no signings until that scarf comes up.
Gary Hoyle says 41 minutes, Hull's still 1-up, but surely going to be half time now. Tony Huntington says anything less than 4-0 is poor. He says, but wouldn't be surprised if it was just 1-0. Would you be disappointed if it was just 1-0 because it's a win?
I wouldn't be disappointed, but you'd like the more goals the merrier. 2-0, I think it'll be 2-0, mate. Like, but I could be wrong because I've been saying to you for months we're going to hammer somebody Sunday.
I'm still waiting for it.
Aye, but it might come against like a good team though, which I hope it does.
What were you saying, Jacob?
Might happen tomorrow though against Plymouth.
We'll soon see. John says it's always teams you don't think that put a spanner in the works. Tonight is one of them, possibly with Hull against Sheffield United. For Sheffield United's concern, that would be a sickener for them if that stayed 0-1, wouldn't it? But I mean, because they're really doing well at the minute.
If ever a team wanted a boost to go for a win, it's Sunderland if they say that result. Oof.
I mean, it's that big of a situation at the minute because we're getting to the business end of the season. If that stayed the same, that result, that scoreline so far, in a way, it feels like 3 points for Sunderland, doesn't it? We haven't even played.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? But like I say, there's a long way to go yet.
Oh, way out.
Pixelvich's current situation makes Leeds the game absolutely huge. I still think Leeds will be champions, to be honest with you. Might be wrong. Sun and Finn says Plymouth. What do you mean Plymouth? Topsy T says we can't even entertain the idea of dropping points tomorrow. He says need to be positive and look at how we play at Burnley. If we play like that, it will be double figures, mate.
Right. It's down to Sunderland, isn't it? If Sunderland turn up, there cannot possibly be any other result for a home win.
No.
If you turn up, you can get beat off anybody in any walk of life.
Oh, of course you can, and it's a mental attitude as well. You didn't turn up thinking you don't have to play to beat these. It's going to be a walkover. You cannot think that mindset either.
No.
David Walker says 1-0 half-time Hull. Gary Hoyle says nothing is ever straightforward. You get to the end of March and it's a different picture and all to play for. So teams get nervous in the run-in. John Smile says, come on, Hull. Steve Taylor's just arrived.
Stevie Taylor.
Sheffield United 0, Hull 1, he says. Great goal, and he says, well deserved.
It wasn't Burstow, was it?
Could be, I don't know. Jacob can maybe have a look at that. Was it Birdstow the scorer? Was it the Birds Tour?
Against who?
Who scored for Hull?
Give a look for you.
Colin Major says, I hear the Smoggies are after Barley Mumba.
I thought you were going to say Barner.
No, it's not. It's Crooks.
Playing cover your Dragons, no, wasn't you?
It wasn't him, was it not, Jacob?
No, a player called Crooks.
Crooks.
Yeah, Crooks. Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I think it's him.
It is.
It's not Birdstow. It's not Birdstow, Cabbie. So.
D Hall says Middlesbrough have had a £6 million bid for Plymouth's Morgan Whittaker's accepted. This is understand that Borough are also showing an interest in his teammate Ballymumba. Jim N says Regis LeBee will find a way to use best formation. We'll soon have plenty of options to switch formation in the game if needed. Steve Taylor says 4-0 tomorrow. Can't make it as I am at work. Mackem says Morgan Whittaker has joined Middlesbrough. It's been confirmed apparently. Mackem 73 says Akpom has turned Sunderland down. That was a player today. I've seen on the headline somewhere that it was rumoured that he was possibly in talks with us. John Nesbitt says 5-1 tomorrow, and he says good night all. I mean, he's been a bit pessimistic there, hasn't he? Letting a goal in. I mean, that's a bit glass half empty there, John, isn't it?
Right.
Nigel S says, watching the Sheffield Hull game, Sheffield have been poor. This is Cannon and Diaz haven't done anything. Hull look the better team. But how many times do you see a game of two halves? Let's just see what happens.
Swansea battered them the first half and still got beat.
They did. Crook scored, says there, everybody in the chat. Gelhardt playing for Hull, says Mackem.
I scored with the team.
Yeah, I just hope tomorrow Sunderland didn't do anything stupid like get a player sent off or something like that early on. You know that's something which completely changes the game, isn't it? I mean, Plymouth if they try and frustrate Sunderland, wind Dan Neil up or something like that. And Neil does so much. 09 and 09 does so much stupid. It's the last thing you want is Sunderland down to 10 men with 80 minutes still to play for. So there is little things like that which could also interfere. They need to keep a cool lead.
Just play our game, man. But you kind of see why we shouldn't play our game. We turn up every week, don't we?
We're still unbeaten at home.
I can't remember the last
in the league.
You thought, hey, we were rotten the day. I can't remember.
No, only a few times when on about first half performance, like Swansea, for example. Then second half.
I thought we weren't very good against Watford.
No, and they've done nothing, have they?
No, but they had us on their back foot, didn't they, when they played with the two wing backs?
God, we've only got 3 minutes left. The show's gone mentally quick again today. Andrew Moen, there's still 50 people watching. Yes, hit the like button, says Mackem. Thanks a lot, mate. Andrew says, tomorrow I'm going for a long overdue 6-0 win. He says, Isidore, hat-trick, and 1 each for Lafay, Ballard and Job. Mackermanth says, hello Mackem, how are you doing? He says, we were after APCOM, then said he wasn't interested, then we are in advanced talks, so goodness knows. But Davey says, wait until they hold the scarf up, doesn't he? So, concentration is the name of the game, lads. So then, 2 minutes left, and we'll go for some predictions. Jacob, what are you going to go for?
4-1 Sunderland.
You're going 4-1 Sunderland. So you think they'll score what? Do you think Plymouth will score first?
No, I think it'll be consolation for them. No, consolation for Plymouth, but I think can't see them getting out of it. They're still, but at the same time, they've lost 5-0 haven't they, to Burnley. They might be up for it against Sunderland, won't they? So we don't know. But still, 5-0 down at half time. That's not good. That's going to lower their morale, isn't it?
Who do you fancy? Who do you think will score?
Blimey. Wilson, Job, Meander, and I'm going to go with Enzo. Let's see Enzo get a goal.
David Walker says 3-0 Sunderland. Mackem 73 says 3-2 Sunderland, a tight one. D Hall says 2-0 Sunderland. Bong says 3-0 to the lads. We won't concede. Gary says 4-0. Wilson gets 4 goals. Paul says 3-0 to the lads. Mackerman says 3-1 to the lads. Davey, what are you going to go for?
I'll go for 2-0 to Sunderland, 1 in each half. Enzo to break his duck, and Isidore to get a penalty in the 74th minute to wrap up the point.
Keeper saves it and he scores a rebound. Do you think there'll be a decent crowd there tomorrow? It'd be nice to see Enzo Lafay walk out to a.
There tomorrow.
It'd be nice to see Enzo Lafay walk out to a bit more than Stoke.
I think he will. I think Plymouth will bring a few up win that they normally do.
They're a well-supported club.
Either day they bring a good crowd up the stadium when they come.
I know. Dougie Stewart says 3-1 and Davey to walk the dogs. John says 1-0 Sunderland. Pixel says Mackem 73 liked and another great discussion show. 3-1 tomorrow. Lafay 2, Wilson 1, Mackermanth. Mackem Muller says the last Sunderland player to score a hat-trick was... Anybody know?
No.
The last Sunderland player to score a hat-trick.
At the stadium or anywhere.
They've not said. Mackem Muller's just said the last Sunderland player to score a hat-trick was...
Kevin Phillips?
No, it was Charlie Wyke.
Oh, I thought you were about proper football.
Oh, mate. But anyway, Davey, it's a poodle time, isn't it?
Yeah, they're sitting here looking at us thinking, how we go? Right, enjoy the match. And I'm sure we'll talk all about everything that happens on Monday.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Davey. Thanks for turning up, mate.
Good night, no bother.
Cheers, Jacob. Cheers for popping on, mate.
No worries, Cabbie.
Are you confident for tomorrow then?
Definitely, yeah. That's we can do it.
Is Anthony Mackem doing his stream tomorrow?
He should be, yeah.
Should be.
I hope so.
He'll be popping on. I do chat. I do chat to Ant now and again in the chat and stuff. He seems to be still enjoying it in Australia.
Yeah, in the land down under.
In the land down under, yeah. So I'm going to end the stream now. I'm going to say, Davey said good night. Jacob's going to say good night.
Good night and fuck the mags.
Absolutely. And I will say good night as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I've enjoyed everybody's company. and 3 points tomorrow.